I'm going to read from A.M.P.M. This is a book of flash fiction, and I reckon I'll just go for about 8 minutes. I don't have a timer, so if you guys could start doing that kind of motion. Okay. I'm just going to pick some at random for the most part. But these are all, each one is its own short story. Okay. Unload your perishables in empty boxes. Give away old clothes and broken cookware. Crush the empty cans and load them with the yellow newspapers. Shred the sensitive documents. Discard fingernail clippings. Get rid of those photographs and letters. Offload the old enemies. A lighter life at any price. Leonard decided that the chaise lounge was his favorite piece of furniture and that he would never leave it. We had to bring his soup upstairs, and even then he didn't like to eat because he was afraid he would drip on the chaise lounge. We'd all sit around and talk a little, but none of the chairs in his house were as comfortable, and once Leonard claimed it, it felt strange to sit on it with him. We were closer than we meant to be, even if we were sitting on the far side of the chaise lounge. After a while, it felt strange to be in the same room with the two of them. Ask yourself, if you were sitting on a girl's couch and you realized that the couch smelled like urine, would your first impulse be to wonder if you were the one who created the urine? Would you feel a sudden sense of guilt, like you didn't belong on the couch at all, and once she came back out of the bathroom, she would take a rolled-up newspaper and swat your ass until you slunk, whimpering to her open hand? What we're saying here is men are dogs. Hazel constantly felt the urge to express something inside of her. With age, she would learn that everyone has that same feeling and that the need to express comes from a sensible desire for community, but that reasonable people either forget that feeling or get tired of talking about it, as when all gossip ends about an embarrassing acquaintance finally winds its way down and the friends stare at each other across the table, each thinking, now what? Martha was face down on the bed with her feet draped over the closed violin case, as if she was having them examined. She didn't move when Emily walked in and sat next to her. I thought I'd join a bluegrass band, Martha said. Her words were muffled by the pillow. You practiced? Emily said. I can play the songs, but it makes me nervous. Everything makes me nervous. It's normal to be nervous. Emily rested her palm on the bottom of Martha's left foot. Great, Martha said. I'm nervous and I'm normal. She started to cry. Do you even like bluegrass music? Emily asked. Martha blew her nose in the center of the pillow. I'll wash it, she said. There's just the feeling, you know, when something happens and you have to let it happen and you get that feeling like your heart is breaking. That's how I feel about joining a bluegrass band. I didn't think you liked bluegrass music. Martha rolled onto her back. Her mascara had smeared into 2 dark smudges on her eyelids. It made her look like an animal, with its fur or feather patterned like false eyes. That's just it, Martha said, closing her real eyes and inadvertently widening her false ones. Emily could barely watch. There's no rule saying that you have to be a child to compete in the Westbrook Elementary School Science Fair. I read the rules and regulations very closely. I spent approximately 22 hours on my volcano, which I have named Carla. I put her chemicals in bottles I labeled with my calligraphy pen. When I arrived holding Carla aloft, the women at the check-in desk admired my work aloud and asked me who I was bringing this project in for, and I said, I am entering this category for myself, please. My name is Leonard, and this is Carla. And they did laugh, and one of the women made a clicking noise with her fingernails on the table because she wouldn't recognize ambition if it slapped her in the face.